Let's talk about taking profits. It's the most important thing, in my opinion, when it comes to investing in crypto, because you could have a great entry. You can be in great projects that can make you a lot of money. But where most people fail is that they don't know how to take profits, that they think like, oh, it's going to 50x. And at a 40x, they still haven't sold anything. And that's where you can first make all your money and then ride it all the way down again. So in this video, I would like to give you the information on how I look at it. I'm not saying that it is now time to take profits and to sell your complete portfolio or anything, but I do think it's important to already know this, because you do not want to look into how to take profits by the time you already should, because the market can move pretty fast. So let's take a look at that. In the meantime, if you do like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. There is a Patreon link down below where you can find exclusive content. A lot of cool stuff going on right there, so do check it out. But appreciate your being here already. You're gonna make it. I mean, this part of the market is not like, we are not in a full parabolic bull run, but we are not in a bear market. But the market is doing well, right? But it's not the most spectacular time yet. So if you are already here, then you're beating 90% of the retail that's yet to step in. So I think you have a big advantage already. But then, I talk a lot about when I'm getting in, what altcoins I'm gonna buy, what strategy I use to find those altcoins, how I go from altcoin A to altcoin B to make the most out of it, right? Because the market can offer you with a 10x, but then you can easily get a 30x out of it, basically, if you shuffle your money a little bit. And if you're interested in that kind of content, go watch some other videos. I will drop more. But for now, it's purely about taking profit. So I think that a lot of people look at it like this. They invested in, like, I don't know, AVAX, for example, somewhere, right? Somewhere here, doesn't matter. And they might look at it like, well, yeah, when it's close to all-time high, I'm selling. But that's a little too specific for me, to be honest. When I'm taking profits on a certain altcoin, I do not look at that certain altcoin in first instance. And let me explain what I mean by that. We all know, and this is somewhat repetitive because I've said this part in a previous video somewhere as well, but for the new people, for the people that like to hear it again, we all know that if Bitcoin does something, the altcoin market usually follows, right? A little later maybe, and it can have bigger moves to the up and the downside, but overall, Bitcoin goes somewhere, altcoins follow. What do I mean? Well, you know that Bitcoin topped out end of 2021, right? So if you look at most altcoins, when did they top out? Illuvium, end of 2021. If we look at Polkastarter, end of 2021. Traded Joe, end of 2021. Quant, end of 2021. Solana, and so it's like, not that all these altcoins are coincidentally having some good news in that period and go up. It's more that they are good altcoins, or maybe not even, so they go up because there is money in the market, right? So picking the best altcoins is not even the most important thing. Knowing when to buy and when to sell is way more important than the specific altcoin that you are in. And unfortunately, a lot of people focus on, hey, what are the best altcoins to buy? That's not what's going to make you rich. When to buy and when to sell, that's going to make you rich, right? Therefore, I think that these videos are so much more valuable than, unfortunately, the clickbaity titles with like, hey, these are my top 10 altcoins. Fuck whatever the top 10 is. Some altcoins are way worse and they will have the same gains because it's just a period of the market. And if you do not know how that works, then you can be in a great bunch of altcoins, but you're not going to make money, or at least keep it in the first place. So as you see, end of 2021, most projects, they topped out. Some in May, because Bitcoin actually had its top in May as well, and it had some kind of a double top in November. But as you can see, most altcoins in that period Well, I have a lot of new ones right here, so you don't see that information, but most topped out in that period. So if we want to know when to sell our altcoins or Bitcoin, you probably more want to know like, okay, when is it going to top out? Well, that's of course like, hey, let's look in the future, and that's impossible. But we know about the 4-year cycle. If you follow the channel, you know my perspective on the cycle at least, and that's very simple. Let me remove the noise right here. That's very simple. You see that Bitcoin here topped out end of 2013, end of 2017, end of 2021. So given the 4-year cycle, it will be very likely that it tops out end of 2025, right? And I'm not even talking about price, I'm talking about time. Because if Bitcoin in, let's say, November 2025 is sitting at $80,000, you will never hear me say that Bitcoin goes to 300K, right? By then, I feel like, okay, whatever, this was it, let's sell. It could be that it's sitting at $300,000 by then. You will never hear me say that it goes to 1 million, right? That's the period where it is going to top out. Hey, and it could be 2 months earlier, 2 months later, maybe 3, but around that period. You don't have to nail the timing exactly. If you just feel like, hey, this is give or take what it is. Right? Now, a lot of people might say like, yeah, everybody expects it, so it's not going to happen. It's nonsense. Everybody expected it here as well, and it happened. Right? It's just the 4-year cycle. But also, not everybody is expecting it, because most people are not in crypto yet. Most people will step in usually after the halving. These people usually don't know how cycles work. They don't know about 4-year cycles and the topping in end of 2025 and bull bear market, sideways markets, etc. They have no idea. They will buy in November 2025. I can already tell you this. I won't buy shit. End of 2025, I will be in full selling mode. And these people will buy from me. It sounds hard, but we need these people as our exit liquidity. I was exit liquidity in the previous market, right? 2017, I was like, take my money. 2021, well, a little bit, not really, but I did not make complete perfect decisions right there. And 2013, I actually almost nailed it. I sold it at $800, bought at 400, so like not a big difference. But so if we know, right? We don't know, but hey, so far so good, right? End of 2025, it's very simple. I go to my altcoin watch list again, and for example, take Ronin. Now, what has a little bit more history? Well, let's take AVAX again, right? Or Chainlink. Let's take Chainlink. It has a little more history. Now, look at it on perspective. Chainlink, end of 2025, is here. Somewhere here, right? Could be earlier, sooner. It's the same, later, whatever. Now, Chainlink can do whatever it does right now. It can go retest the breakout level, right? Sounds like very far away, but on the other hand, if you look at the chart, it's not that crazy. You have these kind of moves, so why is such a move not possible, right? Chainlink does whatever it does. And eventually we will have this kind of parabolic bull run again, right? And that will go up, down, and somewhere in this period, it will probably top out, and then it will go into a bear market again. So my plan is to, in the coming months, especially before the halving, DCA into good quality alts, ride the parabolic bull run, maybe, you know, throw in a little bit extra money on the way up. Some, right? I mean, if you have a disposable income and you think like, hey, the top end of 2025, well, you know, if it's end of 2024, you have a year of going up, so it can't hurt to DCA a little bit more, right? But at a certain point, it will be like maybe March 2025, right? This is a point that I feel like, okay, I'm going to sell. Why? Because if I expect it to top out end of 2025, let's say November, yeah, I'm not gonna wait until October, because of all these years, I can be wrong with a month or two, right? And I don't want to lose a lot of money because of that spare room that I have right there. So I will DCA out of the market right here, just like I DCA'd into the market right here. Now, I've drawn this like, don't be like, oh, Chainlink goes to $46. I don't know, right? I have no fucking clue where Chainlink is going, right? I don't like making predictions like that, because honestly, I have no clue, right? That's not predictable. But it will probably be higher than where we are right now. Let's say by maybe 2x until 10x, somewhere in that region. Hey, it could all happen, right? Crypto is known for doing the unexpected. So therefore, making predictions is a dangerous game, because there's just a really high chance that you are wrong. And therefore, I don't want to dollar cost out at specific price points, but rather at time, right? Because price is unpredictable. Like, they had a wick right here to $52, while the real distribution phase was sitting at around $30, right? That's a 2x difference right there. And it lasted not that long, so that's so unpredictable. While the 4-year cycle is, and I don't want to jinx it, but again, is the most predictable and easy thing in crypto so far. You could have predicted the bottom. The FTX crash was so predictable. You could have said like, wow, in November 2022, some real bad shit is going to happen. Why? Well, because the market then always bottoms out. And when November 2022, crash, right? Crazy how predictable it is. And it won't be like that forever, probably, right? But as long as it is, it is. So therefore, timing is for me so important. So I will DCA in, and I will DCA out. So it does mean that if I dollar cost this area right here, right, this whole area, 70% range, my average entry for Chainlink would be like $10 maybe. Okay. Now, if Chainlink goes back to its old all-time high, let's say just as a measurement, right, that's a 5x, slightly more. Do you get a 5x out of it? No, because 10x was your average. But if you start the dollar cost out from, let's say, $40 until $50, your average is $45, right? And that's a small range, right? So you don't actually make that 5x, right? So don't say to yourself like, okay, I'm going to make a 10x with this altcoin, and I'm not selling before that. Because that's also a problem that gets a lot of people wrecked. Because it could be, right, that everybody expects a 10x, or at least some people expect a 10x, and that Chainlink, well, fuck this, that everybody expects Chainlink to go to like, let's say everybody says, okay, it goes to $60, right? And then I'm going to sell. And what if Chainlink does this? It goes very close, and then it wrecks you. Then you ride the whole way down. Like I said at the beginning of the video, that's how most people get wrecked in crypto, right? They have a good buying entry, nothing wrong with it. Everybody be like, oh, I got the bottom. Cool, congrats. But they don't know how to sell, right? And I can already guarantee you that once we are like 1.5 years later in this cycle, and let's again take Chainlink for an example, and it does like fantastic, right? Chainlink does very well, and it goes up, and it's sitting at $40 or so. I will be talking about selling, right? And a lot of people be like, you suck, dude. It's going to $100. Are you crazy? Why do you sell right now? And it goes higher, and they be like, look, I'm right. You sold way too soon, and it goes higher. And you get more of these comments, right? And at a certain point, it goes down. And most people that expect $100 got wrecked. And I, compared to my entry, have a very good exit level, right? Again, don't try to time the bottom, but just as well, don't try to time the top. It's not gonna work. Some people have the luck that they come very close, but it has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with luck, okay? Because you do not know where something is going, especially with the lower cap coins. Because you can have all your predictions, and I can be a whale with a lot of money that pulls it out or in, that completely changes the price chart for you, right? Now it takes a lot to move a high cap like Chainlink, so this is a little more predictable based on your TA, but still, you don't know really. Now there is another way to look at it, because you can take your profits in stables basically and cash it out to your bank account, which I recommend, because even if you hold it in stables, it's not really safe. There is some Doquan that proved that, right? So be careful with that. But what you can also do, you can also shuffle your money, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, if you do take a look at Bitcoin, for example, in the last cycle, right? And again, let's take Chainlink as an example. I hope that this is a good example actually. So link USDT. And we overlay this on Bitcoin's price chart right here. Let me take a look. And is this a good example? Unfortunately, it is not really a good example. So let me show you something else right here. Okay, this is slightly better. This is DOT. The orange line is DOT and the other shit is Bitcoin. What do you notice? You would say, you would look at this chart and be like, yeah, well, you know, they follow each other quite well, right? And it does, but usually before the parabolic bull run, there is quite a difference. Because look at this. DOT was going flat right here. It was $5 here and it was $5 here. But look at the difference for Bitcoin. For example, Bitcoin here was 10K. But here, while DOT was still $5, Bitcoin made a high of $28,000. So in this period, Bitcoin did a 3x while DOT didn't do anything, right? This is quarter 3 and 4 of the halving year. So that would mean quarter 3 and 4 of this year. What it did last cycle, I'm not saying that it will right now, but it could, is that Bitcoin starts its parabolic bull run and that altcoins don't do much yet. So what you can do is you can ride your wave for Bitcoin, bet you make money, then convert it into DOT, for example, and then ride the wave on that. You have two bull runs, right? How you could have played this is if you started with $1,000 and you put it, and with this example, you had to nail the timing and the bottom and the top, so take some spare room, but hey, the market did it. You could have started with $1,000. You put it into Bitcoin right here, right? You rode it to $3,000. Here, $5 DOT. You put it in right there. You rode that to the top to $50, and you turned that 3K into another 10x. You made $30,000. So with one 10x right here, you made a 30x. That's kind of what I mean. Like you can create your own separate bull run if you know how to shuffle your money. But yeah, it is a lot more dangerous though. I mean, the thing is that altcoins also in a bull market are more dangerous, right? Like Bitcoin, it went from 64K to 30, so it lost 50%. DOT, however, went from like $45 back to 12. It lost more than 70% right there. Of course, it gained harder here as well. But you know that's the thing with altcoins. They can wreck you way more, and they can make you way more money as well. And especially in a bear market. I mean, look, Bitcoin, it went from 70K to 15 basically. So it was like a big loss, but okay, doable. DOT went from $52 to 3.5, right? It lost like way more. So especially on altcoins, do take your profits, right? You do not want to hold on to them in a bear market. And also because you might say like, yeah, well, but this altcoin is good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if altcoins are good. Tesla is a good company, right? Nothing wrong. They sell pretty decent cars, right? Yet they went from $400 to 100. It lost like 80, well, that's not 80%, whatever the hell it is, 74% of its value in a matter of, a year. So quality doesn't matter. Quality and price in a bear market have nothing to do with each other. It's just as that there's no liquidity, right? And people take it out of the speculative altcoins. So taking your profit, it's super important. Right now, you can look for yourself like, okay, maybe I'm gonna write some Bitcoin first, then convert it into altcoins, later convert that altcoins to Ethereum. That's what some people say is a good idea. In that case, you might want to look at the others chart right here. So this is others. This is the top 125 excluding the top 10. So no stables, etc. So this is really the altcoin market basically, right? And what you can do is you can overlay Ethereum, for example, on this Ether USD. Here we go. And you can see like, hey, how are altcoins moving compared to Ethereum? And here, for example, you can see like, is there actually a big difference? Right? Is there a big difference? Are altcoins moving faster than ETH? ETH was sitting at $140. The altcoin market was sitting right there at the low of 6 billion, right? And here the altcoin market was sitting at 33 billion, 40 billion. So it did like a 6x, while Ethereum was sitting at $400. So the altcoin market moved way more. And after that, really, the Ethereum parabolic bull run started, right? Also for altcoins, though. But you want to see like, hey, how does it usually shift, right? How does it usually work? And what tops out faster? That's a super interesting way of looking at things so that you can create your own separate bull market. Because again, if the market offers you a 10x, if Bitcoin from the lows goes to, let's say, $150,000, right? That's a 10x. Okay, that's nice. You can make a 30x out of it. Easy, right? First be in Bitcoin, then convert it into altcoins. Ride that, take your profits on the way up, put it somewhere else. Man, sky's the limit. But yeah, it's a little more dangerous because you're actually trading the market a little bit. So be careful with that. But yeah, now overall, dollar cost in, and on the way up, whenever you think the timing is right, dollar cost out. I will make videos, of course, on when I'm going to sell my shit. And believe me, again, people are going to tell me that it's way too soon. Maybe. But I'd rather have less profit than I could have had than that I'll ride the whole way down again. Right? Profit is profit. And for me, I'm playing with with an amount of money that I feel like, okay, if I get a 5x out of it, I'm good. Right? For some people, that's nearly not enough, and they want to take more risk. And that's understandable. So that is also different. There is no right or wrong strategy. Is the best strategy that applies to you. Yeah, I'm going to leave it here, guys. Thanks for watching. If you appreciate this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Let me know what you want to see. I try to adjust the content to what the audience wants. So if you feel like, hey, can you maybe show me something about that or your opinion about that? Let me know. I'll try to cover it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.